Is the text neck tax robbing your kettlebell workouts? Unbeknownst to many of us, there is a sinister plot secretly afoot to steal our strength, your strength, that most of you don't even know about. Hey, it's Jeff Newbert from ChasingStrength.com, and rumor has it that Apple, Samsung, Motorola, LG, and all the big tech giants are in on it. And it's one of the reasons that your press is weaker than you think it should be. It's also one of the reasons you may suffer from one or more of the following issues: a sore lower back, stiff sore shoulders, pinchy hips, crunchy, painful knees that sound like Velcro opening when you go up and down stairs. Now, all these, this might sound a little far-fetched. I get it. There's a little bit of tongue-in-cheek here, but all these can be directly traced to what I call the text neck tax, or text neck, which actually is a thing. And that exerts a hidden tax on you in the form of immobility, inflexibility, and actually physical weakness. Now, this may sound contrived, but I'll prove it to you here in a second. It's been well documented. So what is text neck? Text neck is a condition caused by poor posture while using mobile devices. We'll flash a picture up here on the screen. It leads to neck stiffness and pain and soreness. The neck muscles, your neck muscles, if you have text neck, strain to support your head while looking down at screens for extended periods of time. This may not be super popular with the boomers, but we're starting to see it in my crowd, the Gen Xers, and you certainly see it in the millennials and below. So as a result, you end up with FHP, right? Which obviously everybody knows stands for forward head posture. It's so obvious. Now, obviously, I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek and a little sarcastic here. Now, here's the deal. This is in all seriousness. Altered head positions, or especially FHP, have significant biomechanical and functional impacts on the following areas. Number one, your thoracic spine, your T-spine, right? The middle of your back, the area of your spine below your neck and above your lower back. Your shoulders, right? That's kind of crazy. And to a lesser extent, and you may find this one kind of difficult, the elbow, to name but three. Take this quick test to see if you have forward head posture. And if you do, how badly you have it. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand sideways in front of a mirror. Then you're going to glance at yourself using your eyes only, or better yet, have a friend or loved one, maybe one of your kiddos, snap a pic of you from the side. And then you're going to ask yourself this question: how far forward is my head over my shoulder? That is the tax that you're paying from text neck, or forward head posture. Let's actually take a closer look at what this does to your upper body. Number one, we mentioned thoracic spine. FHP, forward head posture, text neck, it increases what's called kyphosis, right, or the rounding of your T-spine. So it increases your thoracic kyphosis. So that is a excessive curvature or rounding of the upper back. And this leads to slouched posture and what we call thoracic dysfunction. That leads to reduced mobility of your T-spine and actually reduced breathing ability. So forward head posture restricts the ability of your T-spine to move the way it's designed, forward, backward, side to side, and rotate. It impairs your ribcage movement, so your ability to take a deep breath, okay? And it actually decreases your respiratory or breathing efficiency. And this is due to altered muscle attachments, which actually increase that kyphosis. Now, what does this actually mean? It means you can no longer extend your T-spine, which looks something like this, okay? So that you can put your arm over your head in the lockout of a press. Okay, as a result of compromised T-spine mobility, you compensate for your lack of movement somewhere else. And usually this is by arching your lower back. And that's why guys tend to, not always, but tend to sometimes pinch their lower back or have lower back, ache or spasm when they press too hard. Press too hard. Can you press too hard? When you press too much, right, and your shoulders get fatigued, you end up arching your lower back, leaning back at the bottom of your spine, okay? And then you get a little pinch in your lumbar spine. All right, now here's what else happens. You actually lose your ability to create intra-abdominal pressure, right, and breathe behind the shield, as we call it. And as a result, you increase the shear forces on the discs in your lower back. And that's pretty bad because that exposes them to injury. There's also what we call a postural chain reaction from that increased kyphosis. That means that your changes in head position can induce compensatory changes, right, or aberrant or faulty movement changes throughout all your spinal curves, straightening or rounding them more than they should be. This affects your overall spine posture and your spinal health. Up next, let's take a look at your shoulder. So forward head posture produces altered scapular mechanics. Okay. So FHP and rounded shoulders disrupt the movement of your shoulders up, down, right, in, out, so on and so forth. I'll show a picture. We'll flash a picture up here on the screen so you can see what those are. So at a bare minimum, we've got these 6, which is elevation, depression, retraction, protraction, upward rotation, and downward rotation. Now, the FHP leads to abnormal muscle activation. And typically what happens is you get higher upper and lower trapezius activity and reduced serratus anterior activity. And we'll throw pictures of those muscles up here on the screen so you can see what those are. Now, that's important to know that because that hyperactivity, right, and reduced activity predisposes your shoulder to pain and impingement, okay? And that's no bueno when you want to press or snatch heavy or doing Turkish get-ups. And that is why so many guys have a hard time getting their arms straight over their heads while pressing or finishing the snatch correctly. It also explains why many guys have chronically tight necks, upper traps, upper backs, and may even end up tearing their rotator cuffs as they get into their 50s and 60s and beyond, okay? By the way, you do not want to do that. You do not want to tear one of your rotator cuff muscles because recovery from that surgery is between 12 and 18 months long. Super fun times. I've known guys who've had it. Would not recommend it. So FHP also causes more muscle imbalance and weakness in your deep neck flexors and scapular stabilizers. Okay. At the same time, FHP shortens or overactivates your upper trapezius, right? That's the traps, the part of the yoke, and your chest muscles. Now, all of that contributes, again, to shoulder dysfunction and pain, primarily because we end up with rolled shoulders. So the shoulders slump forward. All right. There's actually an increased prevalence. This is what the research shows, an increased prevalence of shoulder disorders from FHP, right? And it's highly prevalent in patients with frozen shoulder. Okay, by the way, we're going to leave the links to all the research down below in the video description if you want to check these out, okay, for yourself. FHP is also considered a risk factor in what's called subacromial impingement, right? And that is essentially where the tendon of your supraspinatus, which is the top muscle of your rotator cuff. It sits back here, right? It gets pinched. Let's see, man. Maybe we'll show a picture of this. I'll get my editor to show a picture of this up on the screen here for you, okay? But essentially, it gets pinched in this little gap underneath your acromion, and that causes pain, and that can cause actually rotator cuff damage, and you can actually tear that thing, okay? So the 2 most common tears that I'm aware of, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, are the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus. Both of those are part of your rotator cuff muscles. All right. So all that is good times. That's one of the several of the major reasons why forward head posture messes up your shoulders and why you want to fix them. All right. If you don't want any of those negative effects. Now, finally, let's look at the elbow. This is an interesting one. The effects on the elbow are somewhat indirect because direct evidence is limited. But we know that forward head posture and associated postural changes can alter the way your upper and lower arms move in the shoulder sockets. Okay. And then that would be the upper arm actually, and then the elbow. So what happens is FHP potentially increases the tension on nerve roots. And those are the segments of your nerves that emerge from your spine, right? Your central nervous system, spine in your brain, the spinal cord, right? In your brain make up your central nervous system. Your spinal cord is housed by your spine. All right. So it also affects muscle function down the kinetic chain or movement chain, specifically shoulder, arm, and forearm muscles. Now, as a result, this can or may influence elbow function, especially in the presence of other risk factors that we've already discussed, like shoulder and T-spine. I almost said kyphosis. What I meant is T-spine kyphosis. So, and from personal and professional experience, it's one of the reasons, besides poor technique, that guys get elbow tendinitis. All right, now that is just the role of forward head position on upper body. As you can see, if you've had neck, shoulder, upper back, or even elbow issues that just won't go away using things like the foam roller, stretching, massage, or other alternative modalities, it's most likely because you've been addressing the symptoms, not the root cause of text neck and FHP, forward head position. Now just think about this for a minute. We haven't even covered the other areas of the body affected by text neck and FHP. So the question then becomes, well, Jeff, how then do you fix text neck and FHP if you suffer from it or any of its effects? Well, here's one very simple drill that you can test out for yourself.
Hidden core. Prone Superman neck nods and rotations. 1. Lie on your stomach, forehead on the floor, arms and legs outstretched in the Superman position. 2. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth and keep your back teeth together without clenching them. 3. Breathe diaphragmatically. 4. Look up with your eyes and lift your head as high as possible without hyperextending your neck. Your chest should come off the floor. You should also feel your neck muscles and the muscles that run down the length of your spine. You should not feel pressure in your lower back. 5. Match your breath with your exertion. Inhale, lift your head, exhale as you lower your head. 6. Repeat for the prescribed number of reps.
Simply test out any range of motion, like the goblet squat or shoulder flexion, which is putting your arm over your head like this, right? Do the drill and then retest that goblet squat or the shoulder flexion or whatever range of motion test you want to do, okay? If this drill is beneficial for you or for your central nervous system, right, your CNS will unlock, for lack of a better term, one of the following. Number 1, you'll have increased range of motion, so it'll feel easier to put your arm over your head. Okay, and you'll actually have increased range of motion. Obviously, if you're going to measure it, you'll have a deeper squat maybe if you chose the goblet squat. Number 2, you'll have increased speed of movement. Okay, so you're going to move faster through any given range of motion, right? If we use the goblet squat, we've seen people practically fall into the goblet squat after this because their CNS is unlocked, the brakes, so to speak. Number 3, you have increased strength. I mean, we've seen guys who can't do pistols move to doing pistols, those types of things, all right? Or you see an increase in your press weight, or any combination, number 4, or any combination of the previous 3. Now, using these drills and others like them, I've watched people for the last 15 years from all over the world immediately increase their strength, decrease their discomfort, how should we say, okay, their issues, okay, the sensations surrounding their issues. I can't say the P word here, all right? And they'll also increase their mobility. There are 4 more drills like this one inside the hidden core portion of systematic core training for kettlebells. If you'd like to check it out, I've left a link in the video description below this video. Now, the good news is you don't have to stop any of your current kettlebell training in order to use systematic core training for kettlebells. You simply bolt on 5 minutes to the front of your training session and 5 to 10 minutes on the end of your training session, and you'll be good to go. And yes, in case you're wondering, you can do these drills and others found in systematic core training on your off days, okay? So if you'd like, grab a copy of it. I'll leave a link for that program, Systematic Core Training for Kettlebells, in the video description below. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, click the like button, smash that subscribe button, share it with a friend you know who's suffering from text neck and its associated ailments, at least in the upper body. And then finally, if you decide to do the retest, and the drill that we presented here in this video, leave me a comment in the comment section below. How did it work for you? All right, I'm looking forward to finding out. Until next time, my friend, stay strong.